Before we begin, I want to share that this episode experienced a few technical difficulties during recording. While the conversation itself is incredibly meaningful, portions of the audio may fluctuate at times throughout the episode. As an independent podcast creator, I am continuously learning and growing through every interview and every recording session. Thank you for your patience, your grace, and support as the Artist Bridge to Abundance podcast continues to evolve. And now, please enjoy my conversation with Gina White.
Art is crazy subjective, and it's just really expressing yourself and telling a story that words can't, or that words just maybe don't do as well of a job. And it's a journey. We're all like developing our skills.
Every fruit on the tree started out with a seed. So dare to believe the impossible is possible. So your deepest dream, grow your truest dream, bloom your freest dream with me.
Welcome, everyone, to the Artist Bridge of Abundance podcast with Michele Stone. I am here today with Gina White, artist, curator, and president of NAWA. Almost president
of the
NAWA.
Florida Chapter. President-elect.
Yes, president-elect of NAWA. So we're going to have an incredible conversation today about Gina and her life story and the art that she's created through her journey and how it's gotten her to where she is today.
Thank you so much for having me, Michelle. I feel so honored to be here and grateful to you for this opportunity. And I'm excited to get to talk with you. I'm excited to get to talk to you anytime, but having it recorded it'll be interesting, so I'll try and behave.
So tell us a little bit about how you became an artist and how that wove into your life.
It was kind of an odd, meandering path. I always loved art. Us creatives, we love to do and create things usually when we're little, and just there's a bug that you just don't seem... Nothing else fills it other than creativity in all ways. So I always had that. And in college, I did the safe thing, and I became a speech pathologist and worked in healthcare for a long time. But when I was pregnant for my second child, I got really sick. I had developed ulcerative colitis and became bedridden and housebound for about 7 years. And there's only so much TV you can in 7 years. It's horrible. So I got really bored and decided to pick up a sketchbook and just started off with spheres. Started to just do the art exercises, and that kind of got that bug back in me. I really just wanted to create, and the first thing that I did when I got out of bed and was able to stay out of bed was to get myself an easel, and I started with pastels, which, looking back, that was like, pastels are hard.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know what I was thinking. Like, why not just like a pencil or something? But anyway, I started off with pastels and then found oil painting. So I was oil painting for quite a while, and when I was healthy again, I had a couple of surgeries and was able to get back out into the world. And at that time, my daughter was probably around 10-ish, and she was taking some art lessons at the art lofts over in St. Pete, where we live. And these artists have their artwork all over the walls, and I was drawn to this piece. Just every time I came, I just couldn't wait to see it and smell it. It was an Encaustic piece, which smelled like beeswax. That launched my love for Encaustic, and I never looked back.
Fantastic. And as an Encaustic artist, you're also a beekeeper, right?
Yes.
And so how did those two intertwine with your artwork and your
So I'm kind of a nature nerd. I love all things nature, and I always wanted to keep bees, but I don't live on a farm. And in St. Pete, there's not a lot of large properties around, so I just figured that would never happen. But there's some new-ish developments with an Australian company called Flow Hive, and they created this wonderful new beehive that enables you to have the bees and harvest the honey from that one box without having to get the giant machine and all this other stuff. So I was thinking, oh, this is great. I'll just use the wax because I paint with wax. I paint with hot wax. That's encaustic. And the more I learned about the bees, the more I felt like I had to let them keep their wax because it takes a lot of energy for them to make that wax. So ironically, I do not use any of my own beeswax for my painting, but I still love it. The bees are awesome.
It's interesting how you went into beekeeping thinking that you would extrapolate the wax from them, and then you're like, oh no, I can't do that. I have to they have to have it.
Yeah, I fell in love with the bees and like all the things that they do. They're just incredible. I mean, they're amazing and need as much help as they can get, and me taking their wax would not help things. But there are other ways it is done in like large scale organizations or companies that is better them than me. My girls need as much as they can get because I'm just a two hive operation.
Okay, so you have two hives. So when you fell in love with that encaustic piece in art lofts so many years ago, what was your beginning point of you falling in love with encaustic and then stepping into it? Or
so encaustic requires a whole bunch of different equipment than normal paint because encaustic is beeswax mixed with tree resin. That's the medium, and then you've got pigment, powdered pigment that's added to it to create the colors. Anything that touches it is now an encaustic only thing. So paintbrushes, you can't use your oil paint brushes or anything like that. It has to be nothing plastic because it would be toxic. So there's a list of things that you can and cannot do. I knew that if I was going to enter this world of encaustic, I would have to lay out some money, and you want to know that you actually like this. So I was looking around for somebody to teach me, and unfortunately I was not able to find anyone in St. Pete who was able to do that, but it worked out really well anyway because my daughter was going to a sleepaway camp in North Carolina in Asheville, and Asheville's great for art, and I found a wonderful woman named Bridget Benton who was teaching, and she still teaches private lessons and classes and courses and all that stuff. So while I knew when Lauren was going to go to camp, I arranged to have a little half day with Bridget, and the moment I picked up that brush, I was like, okay, I'm sold. And it's interesting because now I teach people, and I find that happens. You either love it or you don't. And I'd say 95% of the people that have tried it are just hooked. And all the people I've taught, there's only 2 people who have been like, not for me.
well, and I've been to a couple of your demonstrations, and I'm completely enamored too.
Yes.
And so I know that when I get a moment and our schedules allow,
Yes.
I would totally love to
Yeah.
come and take a class.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
So isn't this one of your pieces?
Yes, so this is actually, speaking of the bees, this is a perfect piece. So this piece is called Engine Room 2. And I don't know if you could see on the screen, but it's an encaustic mixed media piece. So I flipped the wood panel so that the front of the panel is actually on the back, and this is the inside of the back. And so the inside is coated with honeycomb cardboard that I used to emulate the hive itself, and then it's like an old mailbox kind of thing.
Yeah.
The idea here is that engines, like on a ship, they're not glamorous. No one really notices them, but they're what runs the ship. And so these are not the bright, fuzzy, fat bumblebees might be, but there's not as many bumblebees as honeybees. Anyway, so honeybees, they're not flashy, but what they do is absolutely so important to everything in nature. In fact, 1 out of 3 bites of food that we have are thanks to the bees pollinating the food, plants.
That makes sense because the plants, the vegetables, without the pollination, the oranges wouldn't blossom.
Yeah. Actually, this funny story. So there's Mazzaro's is like this wonderful store. It's an Italian place over here in St. Pete. And one of the guys that I was just talking to that works there, he said, we always talk plants and nerdy nature things, but he said that he's had this avocado plant in his yard probably for about 15 years, and it has never, ever had any fruit.
Okay.
This guy was teasing me that his son is like me now, a nature nerd, and he wanted to plant butterfly bushes and things like that to attract the butterflies in his yard.
Okay.
And so he said it completely exploded with wildlife. And now, this year that just passed was the first year his avocado tree had avocados, and it's because of the butterflies.
Really?
Yes, because they are pollinators too. People don't think about them as pollinators, but birds and butterflies, all insects that visit flowers, they get the pollen on their legs and their bodies. And isn't that incredible?
It is, because it's interesting that you say that, how the butterflies and everything pollinated that tree, because I was always told that you had to splice it with another tree that was already bearing fruit. But the fact that it didn't do just the pollination, that's incredible.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's really incredible.
I mean, it's pretty compelling. 15 years, no fruit.
Yeah.
1 year of butterflies, and it's like full of fruit.
And way to go, his son.
I know. I told him, because we always debate over, because he likes to spray his weeds, and I keep telling him to stop doing that.
Yeah.
It's all good.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Oh my gosh. One of the other things that you do is you are the curator and the founder of the St. Thomas Art Project.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We're very excited about that. St. Thomas Art Project runs out of St. Thomas Episcopal Church here in St. Pete, Florida. And we have this beautiful space that the wall space has not been used. And throughout the years that I've lived here, I've met and talked with many artists who that is one of the things that they complain about. There's so few spaces to show their art. And it's a tough thing. I'm sure that a lot of places outside of this area have that problem as well. So we thought, let's put those two things together. And so we host artists in the community, and sometimes we have people from outside of the state as well. We have solo shows, group shows in our space, and it's a really great way for us to join together with the community and offer the things that we have to help them out. So we've really enjoyed it. We've had a wonderful response from the community. Usually we're booked out about 2 years, which is very exciting. And so we really enjoyed it. It's a nice way to get to know other artists in the community as well.
Right. One of the things that I love about that particular space is the majority of art spaces and gallery spaces have white walls, or they'll paint the walls specifically for a particular show. But this space, the St. Thomas Art Project, is housed in a church that has these beautiful terracotta walls. And to me, it's so stunning to see the artwork reflected beyond that color, because I don't see that anywhere else. And I just really love it.
The funny thing was, when we first started, I hated the walls. And I said, we have to paint this white. This is not how you do a gallery. We can't do it.
Yeah.
And I was overruled. So I can have my temper tantrum, but nobody listened. And so we had to go forward with these salmon colored walls. I don't know. But apparently the church is so old, it's 75 years old. And they don't make that paint color anymore. And so they were like, you can't touch it. But anyway, ironically, every single show that has ever been on there looks amazing against the color, no matter what color it is.
Absolutely.
I even have an artist coming up in September, Alicia Campos. She brought in one of her pieces as just to see if it would fit on the walls. And all of her pieces are these giant 10-foot canvases, and it's all in pinks.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my gosh, this is
What's going to happen?
this is going to be horrifying. What are we going to do? This is finally when the salmon walls bite us. It looked amazing.
Really?
I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I was waiting to hear, oh no, we can't. I thought Alicia was going to cancel the show, but it looks fantastic. Who would have thought, right?
Oh, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. What are the dates for that show? Because this is going to air in May.
It'll be in September. Alicia's in September. And it's the second Friday at St. Thomas Episcopal Church from 5:30 to 7:30.
Perfect. Yeah.
Love to see you.
I'll put the notes in the description.
You had mentioned before, I'm a member of the National Association of Women Artists, and it's Florida Chapter NAWA, Florida. So that keeps me busy. While I don't show my own work at the St. Thomas, the NAWA is where I do my own professional work. So we have about 4 shows a year that travel around the state, and then also NAWA National. I'm eligible to apply for shows within the country. So just a little plug for NAWA. It is the oldest and first fine art organization for women in the United States. It was founded in 1889, and so it's about 137 years old. And twice a year, they have open juried admission process. Right now, we're currently in one from January to March 15th. If you're a woman artist in any state of the United States and you're hearing this and would like to know more, go to the NAWA, NAWA.org, and learn a little bit about it. And the application process is open till March. If it's too soon for you, there's another one in September. So we'd love to have you. It's a fantastic organization full of super supportive women. Our goals are to support each other with educating each other. And what I know how to do is different than what you know how to do. But we're all creatives and we all love to learn and expand our knowledge base and see what we can use for our own toolboxes. And so everyone's so generous with their knowledge and they share with each other. We have a library of videos that each of us volunteer to share about. And then there's shows. And we also try to cultivate community with the younger generation, so we have scholarship programs for those fine artists in school.
And you said that there's 2 application points in the year, so from January to March, and then from September to December kind of thing?
I believe so.
Is that every year, those
Every
same
year.
times? Okay, so regardless of whenever you listen to this podcast or you watch it, that year, you'll have an opportunity to enter
Right, absolutely.
application.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, supportive community.
One of the other things that you've done recently is at the Franciscan Center.
Oh, yes.
You did this extraordinary body of work that was based on the Advent, and those pieces were twice the size of the piece between us, and it was just extraordinary work. It moved me to tears.
Oh, thank you so much. I
You're
really
very welcome.
appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was commissioned by the Franciscan friars and nuns at the Franciscan Center in Tampa, and they asked for me to do a show specifically on Advent. And so I didn't really know much about Advent other than the chocolate Advent calendar that my mom used to give me when I was little. So it was a really great education for me, and I learned a lot about it and read a few books. And then, like you said, I created this body of work. So I enjoyed the process. I find that whenever you start a new body, you just, I'm dorky, so I like to research before. And I think a lot of people like to do that as well. And it's moving and changes and shapes us too in the process. So I really enjoyed that.
I mean, shapes us in a way that not only our art, but our knowledge. Now we have more knowledge about it. And so for you, doing the Advent pieces for the Franciscan Center, and then also St. Thomas is at a church. So is that something that you can also take over there at some point?
Yeah, eventually. We have the 2-year waiting list, but we'll have to see. Because I run that, I don't really like to insert myself.
And I see that, but would you be willing to do a call to artists to do Advent there for other, like a,
for sure.
something like that?
Yeah, we love doing things like that. We actually have a group show coming up for Stations of the Cross. I ran a workshop on printmaking, and when I was little, in the art classes, they have the linoleum block carving, which is almost like losing your finger every time you want to do it. Oh my goodness. But technology, holy cow, they made these wonderful, I call it a giant pink eraser, and there's these pink carving blocks, and they feel like our friend Dee Perconti, she said it's like carving into butter. It's so amazing. We'll have to play. You will love it.
Oh my gosh,
It's
I'm all about
it's
it.
a game changer. It's so amazing. And I'm not a printmaker. I like to play around with things, but the results are wonderful. And I'm sure, like, real printmakers, if you're watching this, you might be cringing at what I'm saying because you know the official and, like, professional way to do things. But for, like, my speed, this was so much fun. And for people who are just dabbling, it was really fantastic. So anyway, the point is, we had this workshop, and it was people from the community and our congregation, and we're going to hang the Stations of the Cross for the season of Lent in the sanctuary. So it'll be fun.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's really...
It's funny that you said that, because I too did the linoleum
Yes.
pink block prints, and I don't even remember what mine was, probably like a lion or something.
Right.
And for my birthday last year, another friend of ours, Jennifer Hadashell, actually gave me a set, and I've been scared to
Oh my God.
pull it out because I'm like, oh my gosh, here it is. What do I do? But I do know another artist, Adelia Dansby, who is extraordinary with her work. She'll do 13 to 15 different layers
Oh
and
my
just keep
goodness.
layering them on top of
Wow.
one another.
Cool.
It's really, really
Oh,
nice.
that's
Yeah.
wonderful. I like to see it.
So yeah,
Very
I'll
cool.
make that happen.
Awesome. I also, in the community here in the Tampa Bay area, as well as with NAWA, I jury shows sometimes. And I really love doing that because sometimes you get in your own little world of what you do and what, you know, people that you know do, and you recognize your friends' artwork. But when you jury something, you get to see all of these fantastic artists and new artists that have interesting, unique techniques. It's just such an education for me. I just really enjoy it.
I love to jury shows too because you get to meet new artists, and sometimes they're at the beginning of their career, or they're in the middle of their career. Or sometimes they're full.
Right.
And it's just being able to have those conversations about what is next. It's actually one of the reasons why I started this podcast. Is when you have these new artists and they're stepping into their career, or mid-level artists, and they're still trying to figure things out.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
moments like this that I want them to be able to listen to.
Right.
And hear what you were doing, how you thought, oh, I'm going to get some bees,
Yes.
and that's going to happen me with my encaustic. That's not necessarily
Yeah.
the case,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
And you're right. So with NAWA and all the other things.
Since you were mentioning it, if some of your listeners are just starting out or at the jumping off part aspect of their art career, one thing that I would say is that if you are entering into a show that is a juried show, make sure you follow the entry instructions because so many people are so talented, and chances are most people, when they are entering into a jury show, everybody is worthy to be entered into that show and juried in, but a lot of times that there's only maybe space for 35 pieces and you've got 150 people apply. And it's very difficult to narrow that down. And so often, which is heartbreaking, we have to be pretty sticklerish about how we pair through those applications. And so many times we've had people who didn't quite follow the instructions in how they took their picture. Maybe they didn't crop it correctly. There's a sliver of light on the outside. It makes a difference. Just really make sure you're completely buttoned up because that can make or break your application.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I did a master class 2 months ago about when people enter in the shows, because someone else juried the show and I helped them curate. And when I put it up, there were paint marks on the frames. Some of the edges were painted white, but that particular person draws out their images with charcoal. And so now there's charcoal on the sides, sawtooth hangers, all the things.
They're simple little things, and it seems like it's being anal retentive, but there's a reason why these things are on the instruction sheet. And if you want to get into the shows, follow those directions.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And also the finished product, because at the end of the day, we're looking at it as curators.
Yes.
As the finished product. And we know what our hanging systems look like and how they work and what best works with them. And so a lot of the time, each one of these applications is geared toward that particular museum or gallery or wherever. We know what we need, and we also know what looks professional. Yeah.
Well, and then also, if you don't follow those directions, your piece is then judged on not following directions and not the actual content or the piece itself. And that's just a shame, because I'm sure your piece is worthy to be in the show.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you're listening, these are great tips. Thank you so much, Gina, for saying that and for adding those pieces. I think we're good.
Yeah.
Was it complete?
Absolutely. It was a wonderful time to get to talk to you and catch up and share it with everybody.
Absolutely. I am so honored and grateful that you're here and that you shared it with everyone today. So thank you so much.
Thank you again. Thanks for having me, and I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, and
We'll see you around.
we'll see you around.
to flower, magic's in your hands. You got the power, so go forth and expand.
If you like the podcast that you just saw, go ahead and click that subscribe button and click the little bell next to it, so then that way you're notified every time we load up another episode. Look forward to seeing you soon. Wonderworks is a co-working and co-creative event space located on Gulfport Boulevard in Gulfport, Florida. This event space offers co-working in a cozy cottage atmosphere Monday through Friday and special events on weekends and evenings. It is a true community gathering space, a blank canvas for your artistic, professional, and celebratory events. Click on the link below to find out more.